I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
Welcome to Unity on Maui. I'm Adam Lightplay. I will be the host for today. And we got a very exciting talk from 5 of our chaplains, all cramming it together to tell some stories. So everybody here, we'd like to welcome you, and everybody online and watching on Facebook, we're glad you could join us there also. We start the day off with an affirmation, and today's affirmation is, I am open to the infinite possibilities that are in the heart of creation. And usually we like to all say that together. So feel it in your soul. And together we say, I am open to the infinite possibilities that are in the heart of creation. And let's see here. Of course, by now you've turned off your cell phones and noise-making devices, or at least set them to Cheap Thrill, so we're all good. And we also have prayer chaplains, as I mentioned. It'll be giving the talk later, but we always start out with a prayer chaplain. And today it's Patricia Cron.
So as we move into a prayer consciousness, I certainly noticed, and maybe others have noticed, that even though chaos is our talk today, order always emerges from chaotic circumstances. So let's hold the vision that this is in order for now to affirm the love, light, and joy that we all are. So take a moment, bring your focus inside into this amazing body temple that we live in. Just notice what you sense there, what you feel. And as you feel within, just imagine you can relax deeply into the truth of your being. That place within where all that is arises from the love, the light, the harmony, the compassion, the joy that each soul on the planet embodies. And from this place within, that oftentimes may appear to be chaotic, if we relax even deeper beyond the appearances, there is a stillness, there is a quietness, there is a place where all that we are can arise and be created from. And as we return to this, remember this, it's always available. And allow our breath to take us to this place within. Notice how when we take our focus off of the external appearances, love is always here. It's right here. It's within. It is the truth of our being. So for this talk today and for this moment together, perhaps there's gratitude for the opportunity to gather together here, even through the chaos, even through the uneasiness, even through what appears to be true. Allow yourself to return and remember, order is always within. It is the place with which love arises out of. Let's feel that. What if all that you are, have ever been, and will ever be, is love, expressing individually as a human in a body temple? For the remembering of this, the returning to this, and the allowing it to be so, we say, thank you, God. We know it is already so. We let it be so, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Patricia. And as always, our prayer chaplains are available after service to pray with you. And it's very powerful because, as I often mention, we don't ask a spirit in the sky to do us a solid or a special favor. We ask ourselves to align with the truth of this infinite universe that has got our back. And so the chaplains will help remind you of the flow that you're in. So Patricia will be available for you after service. And today you got 5 chaplains, so you could probably grab any of us, except for Marlene, who's doing 17 other things like keeping us on Facebook and dancing hula and all those other things. But we're all available to you, seriously. And the next step is we have a daily word. I see Mike standing by with a pamphlet in his hand. So please welcome Mike Fleener up for the daily word.
I can take it out. There we go. Okay. Aloha. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to get 5 prayer chaplains today. I mean, you don't get that opportunity very often. On that note, togetherness enriches my soul. So much of modern life involves time alone and I know that word, solitary effort. The more conveniences I acquire, the less time I may seem to have. When I find myself spending too much time alone, it's good for me to invest time and effort in my relationships. Togetherness is a way to remember life is about more than work and busyness, and I am a part of something greater than myself. Time spent with others blesses and enriches me. It calls me to share of myself and remain open to others. Journeys, ways of looking at life, and I may not have considered. Togetherness is a balm for my soul, a way to feel the presence of God reflected in those with whom I share this wonderful planet. I am part of a wondrous human family, and I celebrate our togetherness. So we, who are many, are one body in Christ, and individually we are members one of another. Romans 12:5. Mahalo.
We have a talk. And so when Blaine goes away, quite often you can turn down a little bit, quite often the chaplains get together to do a talk together and put all our thoughts together, if we can, into something. And the very first word that came up to someone's mind was surrender. And not all of us were willing to surrender to that. So we started talking over possibilities, and, for some people, surrender sounded like giving up, and for other people, it sounded like going with the flow. So what's the flow? And of course, then I had to go in and start introducing words like chaos and quantum and really make it chaotic. So they did all agree together to the talk title of The Chaotic Soup of Quantum Possibilities. And so we all took a little portion of that today, and we're going to talk about it. And our first speaker is, this is the 5 chaplains stirring the soup there and trying to cook up something good for today. AI is kind of good sometimes with chaos and quantum possibilities. So our first speaker is Carol.
Aloha. And thank you, Adam, for being the thread that is holding this all together. So, to begin, it seems worthwhile to ask, what is chaos to you if you haven't experienced enough this morning? What is chaos to you? Anybody? Confusion. Part of life. Doubt. Discombobulation. What a word that is chaotic.
My alibi.
My alibi. everything going in one direction at once and nobody knowing anything about it. Well, we have a symbol for you coming up on one of the slides, Kate. What has been your experience with chaos? Chaotic? Sure. Anyone else? Uncomfortable. Challenging. Confusion. Frustrating. Unorganized. And I heard a word beautiful over here. Highly energetic. Unexpected surprises. Comfortable. All right. Comfortable and beautiful, thrown in this soup of chaos. So here's what the dictionary says about chaos. Oxford says some of what you've already said. Complete disorder and confusion. Unpredictable random behavior owing to great sensitivity to small changes in conditions. And then in the late 15th century, the French Latin definition that Adam really likes, formless primordial matter, gaping void. And if we go on and explore some more, the synonyms, similar to what you've said for chaos, turmoil, jumble, disarray, and the antonyms, the opposite of chaos, calm, peace, order. And as I was exploring chaos on the internet, I found this symbol, and here that's for you, Kate, everything going everywhere in all directions. And yet there was a piece associated with this symbol that said the chaos of the universe and the beauty of random nature. Chaos. I really enjoy doing these chaplain talks because it's a chance to explore and grow. And so, as Adam mentioned, we get on Zoom and we came up with our topic, and then we have a second Zoom call and we talk about where did this topic take you? And then we see how in the world can we fit that together into a talk. So at the beginning of our second call, I asked everyone, so how was your exploration of chaos? And they all responded like, oh, I didn't go there. I want to focus on the quantum possibilities. And so I was reflecting on the fact that I was the only one who dove into the chaos to prepare for the chaotic theme. And it reminded me of my experience with chaos in life. I grew up in beautiful, orderly homes, 3 of them by the time I was 18. My mother was very passionate about that. And yet, in a dysfunctional alcoholic family, there's a lot of chaos. And for me, it was emotional chaos. So there would be these outbursts, and then nobody would talk about them. So I just stuffed it all inside until I realized all of this in my 20s and started to unwind. And so I realized for me that chaos is very emotional. And that was a wonderful reflection because I also realized that I have a choice. I have a choice that I can choose to be comfortable in the chaos because after all, it is the heart of creation. And now Patricia will share her experience with chaos and this talk and some other thoughts.
Thanks, Carol. I handed out these funny little pieces of paper to some folks earlier. If you didn't get one, it is on our Walk the Talk, which is a recording of all of this that we've hopefully put together orderly. And I had this from many years ago because I like what the picture shows. And as Carol spoke about the chaos, she was one of the ones that dove into, well, what is chaos? What does it mean to me? How do I do with that? What have I done with it? And as she spoke about when she began to realize how the concept of chaos becomes a very emotional response to us if we're present and paying attention. I grew up also in an alcoholic family, and I didn't have a clue because the activity that occurred around me was normal. Oh, this is the way life is. This is how it's always been. This is how it will always be. And so as a person that adapts, as a soul that makes the best of whatever the circumstances are, I became, and somebody used the word earlier, comfortable in chaos. And you go, oh my God, is that good or is it bad? It's neither. It's the adaptability of who we are as a soul having a human experience. And so through that childhood experience, as time went on, and I got out into the world, I began to look back and reflect and see how my chaotic childhood served me very well out in our world. Now, why do you suppose that would be? Particularly in the time we're in right now. It's rampant. It's everywhere. And all of us deep in our soul, in our heart, really want to simply find that center, that grounding place, that place that is within each of us. Adam's doing the, thank you, Adam. This is a symbol, Chinese symbol, for the term chaos. And the small print reads, where brilliant dreams are born. Really? Are we sure? The further explanation of it is, before the beginning of great brilliance, there must be chaos. Before a brilliant person begins something great, they must look, oh, if I could get my eyes to focus, they must, oh, this is my favorite part, they must look foolish to the crowd. Woohoo! What if this is really a thing to remember, a way to live in our world, a way to be kind and gentle to ourselves inside? What if that's it? What's next, Adam? So from this concept, this willingness, this ability to be present with the appearance, which is often chaotic, what if inside of, remember those arrows that all went crazy? What was at the very center? I didn't cue Adam for this. Is there any way to go back to that, or is it too confusing? There we go. That's who we are. That is that little bit at the center from which everything explodes out from. That's the truth of our being. It has many words. It has love. It has grace. It has joy. It has harmony. It has compassion. Some people like to call it light. All of those apply. So if and when and as the world of appearances has drawn us into its chaotic nature, and it will, no matter how conscious you are, no matter how present you are, no matter how much you know what is your truth inside, you'll find yourself playing in chaos. Consider that it is a play. Thank you. And what if we remember and intend to come back to that is in the center of our being? Our joyous, do we have this one? Nope, didn't do that one. There's one that says, oh, he pulled up the picture. What if this is humans individually and humans collectively that are joyous because we found where our inner peace lives? It's not out there. It's not in some gathering. It may be in nature. It's a good place to reconnect and remember what your inner peace is. So that's the possibility here. Comes back to this. Chaos will, not can, not might, not even must, morph into order, because that's the nature of the divine law of the universe. And on that note, we're going to see what Marlene has interpreted from all of this. Got it?
Aloha. So I gotta work the clicker. So our journey out of chaos in the beginning and the middle parts can look dark, frightening, and feel scary and be filled with uncertainty. Yet as we make our choices to experience other possibilities, we can begin to feel the warmth of spirit and see the light leading us onward in our journey. And as we explore our vast oceans of consciousness, we shall journey into more happier experiences. So for me, I always seem to come up with all these little orderly things to begin with. And a lot of things come up about how to share the stories of coming out of the chaos. And so I'm going to have a few quick stories that relate to how people, family, friends, and acquaintances can assist us in this journey. Of course, we have to be listened, to be open to the guidance, the whispers of spirit, and also embody the willingness to hear and act on those whispers. Back when I was fresh out of high school, I spent 2 years in college, and then after the first year of college, I went to work at Wendy's to make money for the second year of college, and over summertime. So then I went back to school and came out, and it was just like, I don't want college anymore. Too chaotic. So I spent another 2 years working, and I was like, this is beginning to feel too chaotic. And luckily, I had an angel, and that angel was my mother. And she said, I know you've done some fun things with all the computers and stuff that we've had. And because I had a Commodore 64, one of the first original ones that were out there. And so she said she knew of this school and signed me up. I was like, okay, sure, I'll do it. So it was 9 months of school and 9 months of work. And I graduated with a 3.94 average. And it was a computer programming school. And they had interviews for the top people. And I got, had to go through 3 of them. And it was with a company called, one of the top computer data processing companies in the world, EDS, Electronic Data Systems, owned and operated by Ross Perot of Dallas, Texas. And so that journey through my mother led me to live in Dallas for 11 years. And once again, after about 8 years, I decided I need to go out into nature and explore my surroundings. And I started when I went out there, I started experiencing a different shift in my reality. And I was like, okay, there's got to be something more and different, you know? And I came across an acquaintance, and she ended up being an angel in my life. And matter of fact, her name was Angel Light. So she guided me in various different ways. And then I also had a coworker who was, you know, kind of an acquaintance and kind of a friend, right? Just a coworker. And he got married, came to Maui, and had his honeymoon. So I was hearing, oh, Maui, Maui, Maui. I'm like, okay, that must be where I'm supposed to go. So then I came to Maui, and you know, being here, I've really experienced a lot in my journey in life, and a lot of it has been filled with joy and wonder, and also some chaos. And for me, you know, I started coming to Unity on a regular basis, and you know, we were all about the prayer, the affirmations, and then becoming a prayer chaplain. I had my huge support team, and I really, really was supported by two lovely women, Bonnie Urcanon and Holly Sanchez. And I just am, you know, deeply grateful for the wisdom and guidance and prayers that they provided me in continuing this journey that I'm having. And so some of the other things, you know, journaling, spending time in nature, listen to music, physical movement, singing, playing instruments. The plus was like, oh, I can't write all of this down. You know, like hiking, swimming, whatever it takes, exercising, whatever it takes to get you moving and feeling your feet on the ground, and doing the things that move you forward, reading. And one of the first things when we were tasked with this quantum possibility soup was I saw this quote by Abraham Hicks. As you listen to music or something musical that is offering a rhythm for breathing, as you focus on something, it will diffuse your chaos so much quicker than if you tried to think. And I used to spend a lot of time at night just listening to classical music before I went to sleep. And to me, a lot of it is just music. There's no words to classical. It's just music, notes, having that silence in between. It works wonders. So as we go down our journey, I had a experience because I am a impromptu poetic singer. And on the Saturday that Hurricane Hone winds were swirling around, mind you, I wasn't scared or afraid, yet I could feel the tension and the stress surrounding the event because we knew what happened in Lahaina last year. And so I just started to sing a poetic little song ditty, you know, and about the storm and the rain, and you know, saying I'm welcoming you, rain, to come, please come, we need rain. And it totally made the energy so much lighter, and I was having so much fun that I started adding dance movements. Energetic shift had happened, and then we can find ourselves in this beautiful path on life. And so I'd like to turn this part over to Adam.
Thank you. Wow, that's getting interesting. Okay, so now it's my turn to tell you I love chaos. I'm an Aquarius. I don't know. I think chaos is interesting and full of possibilities. And I actually think it's kind of the nature of the universe, really. The primordial soup they talk about that somehow had the right combination of carbon and light and energy and spark of something that created life, and then that grew into more life. So everything is constantly bouncing against each other, eating each other, excreting it out, circulating. It's all chaos, and yet it makes up this beautiful world that we have. So a while back, I came to the conclusion that God is the ultimate DJ. He is the ultimate mix master. In the old days, I used to say he had everything in his, Coke crate of record, his milk crate of records, but that's an old reference. Now everything's on his playlist. It's probably right in his phone or his tablet or whatever. But everything is available to the infinite source to mix together in infinite ways, and we get all these interesting combinations. And I was thinking, well, I don't want to make him too masculine. So I told AI, okay, turn it into a female god DJ, and let's see some of those planets coalescing, those gases and chaos turning into planets and all that fun stuff. Let's get this up to the page that we're on here. And we are made, according to one of the versions of the story, we are made in the image and likeness of God. We are made in the image and likeness of the infinite creator. We are extensions of that infinite source that walk in the world. We are God's eyes and hands and feet and activity. So we have all that same power that the infinite source does, because we are that also. So we have the power to be our own mix master as we're presented with our chaos, and we can mix it together how we so choose. And there's an expression I used to hear, you can do anything, you just can't do everything. Like, don't limit me. But it's true. The world is infinite. There's 7 billion peoples and unending things going on. So we can't be on every airplane that's going to every exciting destination all simultaneously. But we can choose any one, and with a little focus and intention, we can have that be our experience. So yes, we can't do everything, but we can do anything that's out there. We just pull that record out of our playlist, put it on, spin it a little bit, and away we go. So I love AI, because AI, you give it a few words and it makes up something out of what you say. And I asked for, paths and possibility and quantum. It gave me a really scary one. And I said, can you make it less scary? And it didn't seem to get what I was saying. So I said, okay, add some rainbows and butterflies. And it gave me this image, so I'm happy with that one. So as we go through this world full of possibilities, and the reason I bring quantum into it, I'm not a quantum physicist. I could play one on TV, but I don't yet, but I'm open to it. But from what I hear about quantum science and quantum physics, is they're finding some very interesting things. There's quantum entanglement, where things that are further away from each other than light speed could even travel, and yet when one they could quantumly entangle little atoms and molecules somehow, so that when they change one, the other one changes simultaneously. Even faster than the speed of light, these two things are together. So that's proving to me that there's some connection in the universe. And for a long time, they've had something called the double slit experiment, which I barely understand, except the moral of it is that if they're looking for one thing, they get the other thing. And so they go, okay, well, let's scientifically look for the other thing, and they get the first thing. So it's almost like God's messing with them. Whatever they think they're going to get, they got the opposite. Or whatever you think you're going to get, but then something else changes. So that's why I brought up the quantum possibilities, because there's all kinds of interesting ways that this can come together. And I think there's infinite paths in front of us, depending on the way we put together. So Are we forced to walk down one path? No. We have these paths in front of us. So where do we wind up? We wind up on the path we take. And the way we choose the path we take is with our consciousness. And consciously or unconsciously, we are taking that path with every thought we make, with every choice we make. Some days I'm in traffic and I go, everybody on this road is I won't finish the sentence, but you get the drift. And God says, is that your affirmation? Is that your wish, my son? There you go. There are more of those in front of you to be in your way. Your wish is my command. Today I was feeling good. I got to get to church. I got to go do my stuff here. And I hit nothing but green lights. And I thought, that's really cool. And the moment I had the thought, wow, I'm blessed. I've hit nothing but green lights. Boom, red light. So the point is that, there's the thing about which wolf you feed or whatever. So whatever you focus on with our mind or with our expectations or even with our fears, that is the thought form we generate. And that is what coalesces into the path that's in front of us. That's what the path that we wind up walking down. And I'm going to turn it over to Christine in just a second. I think she has had some experience surfing. I've never been a surfer, but I've watched some of the films, and I have great respect for surfers. And my totally amateur opinion, having never done it, is that surfers are Zen masters, because they go out there and they don't say, I command this wave to do this for me, or I'm going to have this happen my way. They look at what's happening. They look at the chaos. They look at the flow and go, okay, well, how can I have fun with this? How can I ride this flow? That's coming at me. I better go this way, or I better. So they're dancers and interacting with this stuff and turning chaotic flow into an exciting sports for themselves. And I have great respect for that. And I hope in my next life to come back and do some of that. So thank you. And now we'll turn it over to Christine. She's always our closing act. I'll accept that. Thank you, Jason. She always wraps it up and ties a bow on it for us. So, Christine.
Thank you, Adam. Take a breath. So many thoughts swirling in my mind around this topic. You might be able to guess who wanted this to be about surrender. But Marlene brought up an interesting word that might be a integrating concept into what is surrender. And that's willingness. Willingness. So many thoughts right now. Let me grab one. I went and saw Music for Mushrooms the other night. Yeah, this is East Forest's film. He was very involved with Ram Dass. And I was remembered, I spent, Ram Dass filtered in and through my life for decades. And I was reminded of Ram Dass's affirmation, which is what I've been using recently. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am that I am. What do we surrender? And what are we willing to embody if we like the way that feels when we think it or say it? We let go of the ego. What's surrendering is our ego mind.
We're letting that go. I am loving awareness. I asked Ram Dass once if I have a question that I like to ask New Thought teachers and people that we sometimes call gurus. Does free will exist? Is free will real? Ram Dass laughed. He didn't believe in free will. I kind of like the analogy of travel. Talk about best laid plans. You've got in your consciousness, and all your plans are to be at this destination, at this time, in this way. And I'm sure all of us, because I know well, that's not true. Maybe some of us have never left the island. But we've experienced those plans changing. The best laid plans. And how do we manage that? What do we have to surrender to continue to enjoy our trip? We have to let go of our ideas of what that needs to look like or feel like. We have to be willing to go with the flow. I don't know if that's the exact words that I'm looking for here. Maybe it's to shift our perception or how we react to the choices that are being presented to us in any given now moment. I went to the Course in Miracles. Actually, I use the glossary. A lot of people aren't aware of this book. This is a glossary, an index for A Course in Miracles. It's really brilliant. I think it's still published. And I looked up free will. I guess we could have put this on a slide, but for just a minute, since I want you to stay present in your body, if you will, close your eyes so you can hear these words and see how they resonate for you. Free will, defined by the Course in Miracles, existent only in the illusory world of perception, where it appears that the Son of God, our Christ consciousness, has the power to separate himself from God. Since on this level we choose to be separate, we can also choose to change our mind. This freedom of choice between wrong and right mindedness is the only one possible in this world. It goes on to say an aspect of our free will. We are free to believe what reality is. But since reality was created by God, we are not free to change it in any way. Our thoughts do not affect reality, but do affect what we believe, and here's the important part, experience of reality. What we get to change is how we perceive these things, what's happening in this moment, and how we receive this moment. We are co-creators. It does feel good to be in nature and think positive and loving thoughts, to go to the highest place. That's where our free will lies, is in perceptions of what is. That's awareness, right? My definition of awareness, the non-judgmental observation of what is. The non-judgmental observation of what is. Can we limit our judgments to only being positive? To only being loving? I've been practicing walking through the world in gratitude. Just the littlest things I'm grateful that the grass is green. I'm grateful I can brush my teeth in the morning. I occasionally, well, at least once or twice a month, serve with an interfaith group through the Episcopal Diocese called A Cup of Cold Water. Have you heard of A Cup of Cold Water? Cup of Cold Water is a van. You'll see it in Lahaina on Tuesdays and Kahului on Thursdays and Saturdays in Kihei. And they serve those that are currently experiencing being unsheltered. They have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that are made by the Buddhist temple. They don't always get a warm shower. It's called A Cup of Cold Water because it's hard to get cold water when you're living unsheltered. The gratitude, gathering my gratitudes, my observations of the goodness in life, and my perception and my judgments, all the time diligent, vigilant at my mind of how I perceive. So I want to take this one step farther. This is my favorite book. It's called Practicing the Presence by Joel Goldsmith. And the second chapter is called Demonstrate God. I don't know, do we need to define God for this group? Infinite intelligence. Let's see, Joel has the beginning is spiritual consciousness. God is love, God is life, God is spirit, God is all. That is true whether we are saints or sinners. It's true whether we are young or old, Jew or Gentile, Oriental or Occidental. No respecter of persons. There is no way in which God can be left out of its own universe, but we can leave ourselves out. God is there. God is. There is a never doubt that. God is. There is a God, never doubt that. This God is infinite in nature, eternal, universal, impersonal, impartial, and omnipresent. I will add omnipotent. Omnipotent. Everywhere present, right where we are. So, I am you. My interest is your interest. Your interest is mine. Since the one life animates our being, the one soul, the one spirit of God, anything we do for each other, we do because of the principle, this principle that binds us together. So many underlines. This was my grandmother's book, so it's hard for me to discern what are her underlines and what are my underlines. God is infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, and infinite understanding. There's never a need for us to tell God anything or to ask anything of God, except perhaps for more light, more understanding, more vision. It's interesting, the passage that I wanted to really share with you, I pulled the bookmark out. Let us go to God for the joy of experiencing God and then see what God does. Can we give ourselves? Are we willing to turn our lives over to that which is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniactive? Travel is like dancing lessons from God. You just learn to follow. Let us go within. I choose now to fall back into the arms of the Most High. What does it feel like right here, right now? Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your back on the chair. Feel your seat in the chair. Take a deep breath. Feel your lungs expand. Feel your back expand. Open those wings. Where that breath rises from is where this omnipresence is. I cast aside, I set down the mantle of the to-do list, and I choose to be here right now. And allow this infinite intelligence to have full sway. I ask now that my judgments are of love, compassion, caring. I seek not so much to change the world, yet to love the world. To be this loving awareness, this non-judgmental observer of what is, and watch for the miracles. Those miracles, the natural order of the universe, to arise and appear. I know that it is done far greater than I could ever possibly imagine. We choose now this or something better. With every step we take, I'm grateful for every little thing, for all those things I may have taken for granted, and especially for the love as it appears in my life in every detail, in every loving detail, for my comfortable bed, for shoes that fit on my feet, for my friends and family, for this place where we can come together to remember who we are. This divine place where God has its way. We are that place that has been created for God to have full expression. I allow that now to come forth in ways that are magical and that always serve my greater and highest good and that of humanity. The silver lining is there. I do the work and allow it to arise and share in the joy and the gifts that it brings. For this and so much more. For the power and the courage to choose how I perceive this moment. I choose with love, and let the miracles arise. And so it is. Thank you.
And now, if you would like to stand up and claim our prayer for protection or celebration or diving into the chaos and swimming around and seeing what happens, all of those are available to us. And together we say, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Where I live, they're all raised.